Today we're going to talk about the upcoming unlocks for SUI, SEI, and TIA and things that you need to keep in mind. Now, for people who don't know what unlocks are, they're basically vested tokens that are locked for a certain period of time, usually from VCs or early investors, that eventually get brought onto the market and become part of that circulating supply. So if you go to a website such as token.unlocks.app and you search a coin, you'll see their unlock schedule whenever those coins get put onto the market. Now, this is very important to know because whenever you have more supply coming onto the market, essentially that can dilute the price because it creates that downward pressure and all that selling. So usually these VCs or these big investors have a lot of that supply because, again, they've had these coins for a long amount of time, usually at cheap prices. So by the time 6 months or a year passes, now their coin is usually worth a lot of money, and then all that money is then dumped onto the market. So some examples I wanted to post before I go over SUI, SEI, and TIA is WLD and Arbitrum. So whenever we saw the WLD coin, they had actually upcoming unlock, which was, you can see here on the website, you can see they had 5.32 million WLD per day for 725 days. Now, they had this upcoming, and a lot of people were looking that, hey, this is going to be extremely bearish for the price. Now, before that date actually came, which was here on July 24th, you can see that the price actually spiked. So on July 13th, it went from $1.78 all the way to a high of $3.25, which is almost 100% pump. Now, a reason for this is because those VCs want that exit liquidity, okay? Whenever you have these unlocks coming, usually those VCs or early investors need some liquidity, so they'll try to help pump the coin ahead of time. And really, you can see here how much the coin pumped. And then since the unlock happened, you can see that it's basically been down only. Now, the same thing happened as well with Arbitrum. So you can see here on Arbitrum, their big unlock was actually happening mid-March. And you can see all these tokens that were starting to be unlocked. And when that happened, if you go to the Arbitrum chart, you can see that on March 14th, around that time when the unlocks were starting, you can see how much drop in price there was. So we had this kind of pump in Arbitrum. It was still maintaining this price near all-time highs. And then from there, it basically just started dropping from those unlocks, and all that downward pressure just continued, and it hasn't recovered since. So unlocks are very important to watch out for because usually when coins are being pumped on Twitter, you look at their unlock schedule, and more times than not, they'll have some big unlocks that are upcoming. So I mentioned SUI, okay? SUI is a coin that's been pumping a lot. It was actually pumping more a few days ago, but it actually went from 50 cents to over $1, and a lot of people are wondering why everyone keeps pumping this coin. Well, you can see here that for their unlocks, right now you can see an upcoming event in 14 days. You have 2.47% of the circulating supply that's going to happen. Now, this also happened the previous month in August, but nonetheless, you're seeing more and more people starting to talk about it. And if you go to the SUI chart, you can see here, this is a September 1st date when those unlocks are happening, but look at this, okay? Right after those big unlocks in August, you can see create some downward pressure. Then people started pumping it August 6th, and it went from 53 cents to a high of $1.11. And people are touting it as a Solana killer. While again, technically, you know, could be a good protocol. They do have some big upcoming unlocks, which is, again, could be another reason for this. And I believe there's some people saying that they've been paid to shill it. The influencers have been paid. Again, I don't buy that necessarily. I'm sure there's some type of payment going on, but nonetheless, the fact that there's some big unlocks coming is a big reason for this price increase. So just something to keep in mind there. Anytime you see a coin pumping a lot out of nowhere, and a lot of people are talking about it on the timeline. And then next, let's talk about SEI. So SEI actually started their unlocks August 15th, so just 2 days ago. And what they're doing is over $1.4 million per day for the next 365 days. So this is constant sell pressure on SEI right now that recently started. You can see August 15th and has been going down since. So keep an eye on that. Unfortunately, you know, SEI does have that paralyzed EVM narrative, which we do have the Monad launch coming up, which is another paralyzed EVM. So it should kind of help with that, being in essence, quote unquote, a beta play for that. But with those unlocks happening every day now, there is that constant sell pressure. So unless there's some demand or new narrative that pops up for paralyzed EVMs, then we may continue to see this downward pressure. So just keep that in mind. Always look at the big support levels, such as 22 cents here. And then below that, I would be looking more towards this big level of 14 cents. So hopefully it doesn't go that low, but you never know, since August and September are historically bearish months for crypto. So keep that in mind for SEI. And then finally, TIA. TIA is the big one, guys, I want to put on your radar because TIA has huge unlocks, nearly $1 billion, happening October 31st. So you can see here on the chart that TIA has not had any unlocks for nearly a year, and now they're finally going to have them October 31st. I think most early investors are up over 100x or more. And you can see on the price right now, October 31st, still about a month and a half away. But nonetheless, I can't expect the price to start pumping probably within the next few weeks, especially if it taps the support level of about 450 again. I'd be looking to buy here. And then even further down, if it gets down to this $3 level, I'd definitely be looking to buy here as well. So keep these levels in mind. But yeah, I do expect as we get a little bit closer to this October 31st date, we'll start to see more pumps, potentially up to 750 and even higher. So keep that in mind, especially because October is historically a bearish month, even Q4 in general, October, November, December. So with the election coming up, a lot of shenanigans are going to happen. So expect volatility at the very least, but you can expect TIA to gain some more traction as we get into September, especially going towards that October date, because again, at the end of October, we do have those big unlocks happening. So VCs will need that exit liquidity. So keep an eye on these guys. Again, if you don't know where to look, I mentioned here on my thread that I posted a few days ago, token.unlocks.app. Okay, it's a very easy website that shows you all the unlocks. Just search for whatever coin you want, and then it will show you the upcoming event for their unlock and also a chart of the unlocks as well. So very useful. And also, if you just go to their homepage, they do have a lot of tokens that are listed for the next upcoming unlocks for the month. So again, a lot of useful info for here, and definitely something to keep in mind with that. But yeah, guys, if this helped you out, please give the video a like. Please comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Really appreciate all my subscribers. Until next time, thanks for watching.